So the ATO are always looking for evidence and record keeping in order for companies to claim their R&D tax incentive. Today I'm joined by a specialist, George Mirabelli, who is an expert in risk reduction for people claiming the R&D tax incentive. George, tell us a bit about what you do and what you see companies are struggling with.
Hi Ben, thanks for that. I specialise in making sure that people can get their record keeping under control, integrated into the way they do their R&D. That way they can reduce the risk of missing elements of the documentation that needs to be kept, and also make it repeatable so that they can make sure that their documentation is happening automatically each year, and they can sleep well at night. That's the basic crux of it. Now, I come across companies that have very good elements, and I find that everybody seems to do everything but don't document it very well. And I think just getting that documentation level up to the right level, making it repeatable, making it ingrained in what you do, is how you reduce the risk of a tax audit. And by doing that, you can get all the elements that you need stored away, accessible, and should there be an audit, you can locate that documentation very quickly.
Is there one sort of main tip that you see that companies should be doing?
The main tip is to make it integrated into what you're doing every day, so that when your researchers or developers are doing their work, they're automatically creating those records without actually thinking about it. And what I find is that probably the core tip is that the R&D legislation requires certain documentation that's actually state of the art. If you do all those things, you actually do the R&D better. And by thinking about it that way, you take on the documentation, not as an overhead, but as part of what you do every day.
So thanks, George. So you work mainly hand in hand with consultants and companies to, I guess, produce better records?
Exactly. I take on board what the tax consultants need, what the legislation requires, and make sure that I look at the processes that the business is currently doing and go through and integrate in the additional record keeping if there's anything added that needs to be added, and just formalize the thinking behind the records so that they can just naturally produce the records as part of their day-to-day.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, George.
Thanks, Ben. Take care.